Okay, so first question is, how do you define economics?
I think for me that's kind of like the big picture of how money works with countries and governments.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, this is my father, Ralph Jones, and this is for the interview for economics, the first section. How do you believe, or do you believe that government should play a role in the economy? If so, how much should the government control?
I think governments get involved in things like sort of setting interest rates and monetary policy, but I also think that the free market industry should have a pretty big say in how things go as well. Really.
Awesome. Um, how do you think economics has changed since your youth? And also, because you grew up in the United Kingdom, how would you compare the economic systems there to where we live now in the United States?
I think they're both the UK and the US are both first world countries, so I think with a lot of you know big industries. I suppose what's changed along the way, that the world of there's a lot more new technology around than there was when I was growing up. Although there was still sort of innovation along the way. Um, Sorry, can you I may have missed half the question.
How do you think economics has changed since your youth, and the differences between the UK and the US?
Okay, so maybe when I was growing up, we went through some fairly sort of big recessions as the UK kind of changed from a manufacturing to more of a services related country. Beyond that, I kind of feel like maybe, I don't know if the world has become a little bit more global, and just the world of, or the use of technology has just made things happen so much quicker.
Awesome. Kind of leads on to our next question, actually. So, one notable economic event in your lifetime was the 2008 recession. What was it like living through it, and what did it change?
So I think for me personally, I was, there was some impact to the business that I was part of, but I was fortunate that, I never came really close to it having a real impact on that. We for the company I worked for, we did see some revenue shrinkage, and it meant that we ended up letting go of some people that I was part of. And I wasn't impacted by that, but I had to play my part in that process, which is, not a whole lot of fun. But thankfully, we survived through that one. And then maybe beyond the world of work, there was the impact to house prices, which never really impacted us, but certainly I've seen the way in which the world of mortgages has certainly changed a lot in that time frame, but thankfully we never got too caught up in any of that.
Okay. What are some financial decisions you have made in your life that have had large trade-offs, i.e., it was a big decision and it could have gone either way?
So I think buying a house is one of them. I'm not sure it was a financial decision, but choosing to move to the United States was a sort of a big life decision that could have had financial impacts. I chose to do an MBA along the way, which cost a reasonable amount of money, but I always felt that was a significant investment that I would get some return on in the second half of my career. So I don't know, like moving to the US, buying houses, going to college for a second time later in life.
Are there any of these decisions that, in retrospect, you wish you could have chosen differently?
I don't think so. I mean, although you never get to sort of play both sides of that coin, but I think as I look back on things seem to have worked out pretty well. So I don't think, given my chance again, knowing what I know today, I wouldn't have done them differently.
Okay. In the workplace, have there been any decisions that you have or have not made that you regret? Or not even that you regret, just any large decisions. Like, I know for one would be moving to California instead of staying in Connecticut.
Yeah, I don't in any way regret that. I think, you know, it came with some, as you can imagine, you know, that there's a sort of emotional impact for the family. You know, we did that at a time when, you know, you and your brother were young, and so you kind of, you uproot, you move 3,000 miles, and you go somewhere where you don't really know anybody, and so you have to sort of start making friend groups all again. But no, I think, you know, whilst there was a little, you know, it wasn't always easy at times, I look back on it and feel good about the fact that we came out here.
How would you say that you provide, you know, to the economy of this area and this country? Like, would you say you provide a good or a service, or how would you describe it?
Well, I pay my taxes, so I figure that's part of it. You know, more broadly, I think we, you know, well, a lot less because of COVID lockdown, but I think we generally like to sort of, you know, as you know, we like to travel. It's nice to go and eat out. It's nice to sort of go and visit places. So we sort of help the leisure economy and whatever you want to call sort of eating out. So, you know, over and above kind of paying taxes, I think we sort of try and help a bunch of local businesses, both big and small.
And then in the workplace, would you say you work to provide a service, or you work in closer to the manufacturing of goods?
Most definitely in the manufacturing of goods.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.